In this demonstration, we're going to install and configure a remote simulator component. So here we're looking at an enterprise dashboard with the registry on DT server and its associated components shown. If we drill in, we can see a single coordinator, a single VSE, and a single simulator, all installed on DT server. Let's drill into simulator here. We can see we have a single simulator named simulator, and it's running on host named DT server. What we're going to do now is install and configure a new remote simulator on a node called DT comp. Once we do that, we should see that simulator appear here as well as in the portal and workstation. So let's switch over to the remote system DT comp. The way things work on this remote server is that you download DevTest Solutions and install it in the same way you install DevTest on the main server, but in this case you don't need a license file. During the installation, you enter the path to an existing enterprise dashboard instead of installing a local one. We specify the address of the enterprise dashboard server, which is the DT server system, and its port number, which is by default 1506. As mentioned earlier, all of the components get installed except for enterprise dashboard. When the installation is complete, we'll just configure and start the simulator, not the registry or the other components. So let's complete the installation. We're not interested in installing demo server at this point, so we click next. We'll take the default as far as symlinks. As far as desktop icons, we don't need those, so we'll leave them off, and we'll click install. After a few minutes, the install completes. We click next and then click finish. With the install complete, we've navigated to the Lisa home or DevTest bin directory on DT comp, and we note that the simulator executable and the simulator.vm options files exist and were created by the installer. What we need to do is modify the VM options file and also create a simulator.local.properties file in Lisa Home. These two files connect the simulator to the remote registry. The default VM options file and the newly created local.properties file are already open in the editor, so let's view those now. The simulator.vm options file contains this template information, and the simulator.local.properties file is blank. What we're going to do with the simulator.vm options file is add a property that specifies the path to the simulator.local.properties file. So we've added the Lisa local properties property prefaced by -d. In most cases, we want to keep Lisa properties out of the VM options file. This is one of the exceptions. Generally, we want to put things in this file that are associated with anything directly involved with the JVM itself. Things like the maximum memory or the sorts of properties needed when the image first comes up. And now we'll save the file. Now for the simulator.local.properties file, we want to add a pointer to the registry, and we also want to give this simulator a specific name so that it's easy to identify. So we've specified the registry URL, and we've given this particular simulator a name. It's a good idea to give different components that you're distributing or have multiple copies of unique names that make sense in your environment. These names are visible in Enterprise Dashboard Workstation and Portal. So let's save this file. So let's start the simulator. And it looks like the simulator has started. So what we do now is switch back over to the enterprise dashboard. As you can see in the enterprise dashboard, the new simulator appears. If we look at the details, we can see that one is on DT server and one is on DT comp. And we have got the names. One is called simulator, and the second one that we just added was called simulator external. Okay, now let's look at the DevTest portal. we should be able to see the remote simulator under Monitor Server Health. And we see that there's 2 simulators now shown. If we expand this so we can see the names, we see that there are 2 simulators. One was called Simulator and the second one Simulator External. So it appears here as well. And if we look at Workstation, we can see that the new simulator is listed here and is available for Workstation to schedule tests. The process we just showed can also be used to configure a remote VSE. What you would do is edit the virtual service environment.vm options file, adding a path to your virtual service environment.local.properties file, and in that file you would specify the path to the registry and also give the virtual service environment a unique name. So in this demonstration, we've successfully installed and configured a remote DevTest simulator. For more detailed information about this product, click the information bubble in the top right corner to load the product page. From there you can visit product documentation, support, communities, or see the learning paths.